Oh shit. Well, I'm always almost getting into accidents whenever I'm doing these damn videos. One day I'm going to get into an accident. Maybe not. What's going on? It's your boy Tunnel Vision. I'm back. Press the like button if you like the video. Don't forget to press the like button so we can get this, into the search engines and we can start building up this channel. We watched out. I'll be on there for a second. I'm on my way to the gym right now, put in some work, but we're gonna get into it just a little bit. Touch on the Lomancheko fight versus Campbell just a little bit, and then get onto the PBC pay-per-view thing that people keep asking questions about. Campbell versus Loma. Okay fight. Loma got hurt in the fight. Still won the fight. They had a weird, as if it was a lopsided victory. It wasn't. It was a close fight. Even the top rank people, at first for 6 rounds, they had it as a close fight. They actually had it even 3-3 after 6 rounds. So even what they thought, Bradley thought, and you could say Andre Ward and all of them, they didn't have it necessarily the same way as these other people had it. It was a close fight. When you're facing the likes of a Campbell, if you're pound for pound the best fighter in the world, you shouldn't be having the issues that Lomancheko had in that fight. This is becoming a trend. Him having issues and then people making excuses for it, until trying to maintain this fake status of him being pound for pound number 1. From the Linares fight, you don't get beat up like that and put onto the ground by Linares. You don't. You beat the brakes out of Linares and you stop him in 34 rounds if you're a quote pound for pound number 1 type of guy. Pedraza, we saw what Tank did to Pedraza. We saw the issues Loma had. You don't have issues with someone like that if you're pound for pound. And now we've seen Campbell, him having issues with the likes of Campbell. Really, Campbell? And then people keep trying to yap about, oh, he's too small. He's not fighting in his weight class. That's BS. That's number 1. Number 2, if that was the case, you should stay down at 130. You should try to unify at 130. Why didn't you try to unify at 130? Why didn't you try to unify at 126? Unifying at 126 would have been hard. You did a unification. You could have did a rematch with Russell, who had a WBC belt. That could have been a unification for you. But that would have been a hard fight. A really hard fight. But, the whole who's pound for pound number 1 talk, that needs to stop ASAP Rocky. Right away. Right away. Right away. You put Gervonta Tank Davis, who's in the lower weight class, he goes up in this next fight and he fights Campbell. That fight's over in 3-4 rounds. He stops Campbell. Easy breezy. Stops him. Mikey Garcia faces Campbell at 35. He's getting stopped in 3-4 rounds. Easter faces Campbell. Easter's stopping Campbell. Or he's going to beat the bricks out of him for a good 12 rounds. That's just what's going to happen with that. So that pound for pound number 1 talk, that needs to stop. Crawford kept moving up from 135 to 140 to 147, and he just kept doing his thing, beating people up, kicking ass and taking names, and Bradley was, Campbell's a gold medalist. Campbell's a gold medalist. Well, so was Gamboa. And so was Diaz. And we seen what Crawford did to them. So that's what it is. Campbell's trash. When it comes to his pro career, he's been trash. Basura. Shit. Excuse my language. And he handled his business. When it came to, Terence Crawford, he's handled his business. We don't need to make excuses when it comes to Terence Crawford. We don't need to say, well, it was because of this, so it was because of that. It doesn't matter how big they were, how small they were, how powerful they were. He handles his business. He might be stupid when it comes to, the business ass side of it. But when it comes out of that ring, there's nothing you can say about that man. He's a beast. An absolute beast. And there's no excuses needed when it comes to him. But enough with all that. When it comes to PBC, people keep wondering, like, Wilder versus Ortiz. Why haven't they announced that yet? Why haven't they announced that yet? I remember the same thing being said about the Earl Spence versus Sean Porter. Why haven't they announced it? Why haven't they announced it? And I think the reason why they kind of wait, they usually wait till about a week or two before, like, a certain pay-per-view happens, before they announce the next one that's coming up later on. These guys have a lot of events that are going on at the same time, and a lot of big events that are going on. They're not like the other platforms who have, fights here and there that people, are interested in. They have a lot of fights that, that people are, really clamoring for. Even with the end of the year coming up, there's a lot of big fights that we want to see. From Hurd versus J-Rock, from what the hell? From made me lose my train of thought. From Charlo versus Harrison. These are big fights that we're looking forward to. Then you obviously have the Wilder versus Ortiz. We have Porter versus Spence coming up. So especially when it comes to the pay-per-views, what they like to do, they like to wait about 2 weeks before one of the pay-per-views are coming up, or sometimes it'll even be that week. Then they'll announce it. You don't want to necessarily have 2, 3 big fights all announced at the same time, because then people now on the space where it's like, am I going to go to this one? Am I going to go to that one? Or I'm going to go to this one? And it might hurt you when it comes to ticket sales, when it comes to the gates of these fights. That's number one. And then number two, you want the full focus to be on the upcoming event. Like when it was Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman, the full focus was on that fight, and those guys facing each other. And we didn't really hear anything about Spence and Porter really until about, like, confirmation, a week, or maybe 2 before that. And then they kind of started their actual real promotion on fight week for Thurman versus Spence. For Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. And that's how they basically been doing it. And then, like, right now, I'm expecting you're probably going to hear about Ortiz versus Wilder. You're probably going to hear that. I'm guessing it's going to be probably in the next 2 weeks. Probably in the next 2 weeks. But with that particular fight, there might be something going on with that, just due to the fact that I think the date that they were supposed to go, they said it was going to be in the Staples Center on the 9th, and there's a rumor that something else might actually be happening at the Staples Center on the 9th. And I know people have been really going hard bidding for this particular fight. So, there also might be something going on as far as with the network portion of it. But usually, they do. That's what they usually do. They usually wait about 2 weeks, or even as close as the beginning of the next fight, just so all the focus is on that fight. All the focus is going to be on Porter versus Spence. That's where the complete focus is going to be. And then from that, you're going to flow into the Wilder versus Ortiz. So expect everything I say to be done probably in the next week or two. And expect both of them to be at the actual fight, probably at the Porter versus Spence fight. Expect them to be there, and they'll probably kick off something then, unless there's something completely to the left side that we might not know about. But that's basically what I'm expecting. And when another big major fight comes up, if they're kind of back to back, it'll be the same kind of thing. Like, let's say you got Tyson Fury versus Wilder. That's supposed to happen in February. Let's say that all goes through and they do have that in February. And let's say Manny Pacquiao versus Earl Spence, because Earl Spence should beat the bricks out of Porter. You know what I mean? We can say the winner of that fight, but it might get kind of ugly with that one. Porter's a beast. We all know that he's an animal, but it's just the two different styles kind of going up against each other. I think this might be a bad look for Porter. But, if, Spence wins that fight, if they're able to, complete a Manny Pacquiao versus Earl Spence, and let's say they're going to do the fight in, let's say the fight it's probably going to be in May, but let's say the fight was, it was going to be, let's say, in April or something like that. Yeah, probably even beginning of May. You're still, you start hearing rumors about it. You're still not going to get full confirmation of that fight happening until, the week, let's say, of Fury versus Wilder. And that's how they like to do it. And they have so many fights happening at the end of the year. Also, though, man, I don't know how they're gonna do it, man. What's his name? Danny Garcia is supposed to be fighting in the end of the year. They're still saying they might do like a Danny Garcia versus Mikey. I guess still might be on the table. Me personally, I think they might end up pushing it till next year, but they're saying that could still happen at the end of the year. Tank Davis is supposed to be fighting at the end of the year. Supposed to, against maybe Leo Santa Cruz. It's just there's so many big fights that are going to be kind of bunched in. I'm not really sure how they're gonna do all that. And then you got the Harrison and Charlo. Then you got Hurd and J-Rock that are gonna be in the same date. And Terrence Crawford's gonna be in a bad situation because it seems as if that hit Terrence Crawford against Mean Machine, the European assassin, the Crusher. Crawford, please. Leave. Please, can you leave so you can be on a promotional team that really supports you and loves you and really goes all out for you and gets you real fights that we can look forward to? Crawford's going to have a fight in New York at Madison Square Garden, which is just basically a promotion for Teofimo Lopez, who's going to be on the undercard. And on the same night, you're going to have in the Barclays, J-Rock versus Hurd and Harrison versus Charlo on the same night. Are you fucking serious? And you're gonna be in the ESPN Plus app, and this fight's gonna be on regular Fox? Really? You think you're really gonna compete when it comes to viewership? When it comes to gate? The whole focus is gonna be at the PBC. Who's even gonna be at that fight, promoting that fight? Who? Everybody's gonna be at the Barclays. You got the pound for pound, the best fighter in the world that's going to be fighting on that particular night. Pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. Where all attention should be on him. But that fight's going to be on the same night as this beast of a card. And these guys are fighting, the winners of that fight are supposed to be unifying against each other for 154 pounds. And we remember the fights that they had. And those 2 million plus people who watched both of those events, they remember those fights too. And guess where they're going to have their attention to? It's going to be there while you're stuck on ESPN Plus on a fight that's going to be zero promotion for us until probably the week of the fight. And then who was he calling out? Just a couple of days ago, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was on your damn promotional. He was part of Top Rank. What did your promoter do? Shit. Nothing. He asked for $20 million. They wouldn't give him $20 million. Said he was asking too much. Ironically, Al Heyman gives him that $20 million for Keith Thurman and gives him the same amount of money for Adrian Broner plus upside. On pay-per-views. That did good at the gate and did great when it came to pay-per-view. You had him before, and they didn't deliver that to you. Then Bob Arum comes and says, hey, I didn't want Manny Pacquiao to get hurt. That's why I didn't give him the fight. I didn't have him let him fight Terrence Crawford. So he's basically saying he effed you. Yet you're still riding with that crew. You're still riding with that side that doesn't care about you. They didn't care about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather. They wouldn't invest any time or any money in Floyd Mayweather. Yet somehow you think they're going to do it into you. And you cry and bitch about PBC not recognizing you, or PBC fighters not fighting you. When you effed yourself. When you can leave, please be smart and leave. And leave. And supposedly Bradley's supposed to be a good friend of his. Someone that, rides with him. Bradley's supposed to be the guy that, I guess gives him advice. I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why he was a dumbass and he re-signed with Top Rank. With all the stuff that he's been saying about Lomancheko and sliding you off to the side, you should see where that man's brain is. And some of the things you do is questionable when it comes to the business aspect of it. But one thing, clearly, so far, you haven't seemed to be is a tap dancing truck driver. Don't seem to be a tap dancer. So it makes no sense to be getting advice from one. Hit the like button. Hit it. It's right there. Just right there. See you on the next one. I gotta go to the gym, put in some work.